hello there everybody, Bilbo10000 here, bringing you guys another Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Leak discussion analysis video. Today, I am going to be taking a look at two picture leaks that were sent to me on Twitter that looked incredibly interesting, and I wanted to give my thoughts, and they kind of relate to each other in a weird way. So I figured I'd put them both in this video. Now before we get started, I know some of you are wondering where Rate Their Chances episode 22 is. Well, if you check my Twitter, you'll know that last night I stayed up until 5 AM. It was a movie night for a streamer that I moderate for, and I decided to stay up and watch a movie, and I was so exhausted I didn't have time today to script the Rate Their Chances episode because I woke up at like 3 PM. So, well, probably wasn't that late, it was probably like 1 or 2, but I definitely woke up in the afternoon, so I was not prepared for the editing today. So Rate Their Chances episode 22 will be out tomorrow. So today instead I am looking at some picture leaks because we haven't looked at a good old-fashioned picture leak in a while, and these ones I'm a little bit excited for. So we are going to be looking at leaks sent to me on Twitter by the users at bman0988 and at Lennox Sands, both of whom sent me the different leaks. So the first leak we are going to be looking at is for the character Geno. So I got sent a link to a Reddit post, which was a link to an Imgur, and we had some Geno pictures. We have got this first picture of a potential Geno character render, kind of just staring off into the distance, possibly on the character screen from what I can gather. We then get a picture of a winning Geno who has just won a fight and is holding his gun in celebration I'm not really sure what this victory pose is supposed to be, but it exists. And then lastly, there was a post for Icicle Mountain. Now, Icicle Mountain is a stage that has not been confirmed to be returning to Smash. And I'm just going to do a quick Google search just to see if any of the pictures that I find on Google match the pictures that are being shown off in this screenshot here, because I would not be surprised if they did in some way. And so far, I'm just kind of looking around, and I'm not really noticing it. I'm not really noticing any pictures that look specifically like this one just yet. That could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing, because Icicle Mountain is not exactly a stage that people are known to like. I know there is a lot of hate going around for Icicle Mountain just because of what it is, what it entails, and I'm just looking at this screenshot, and my first thought, very clearly, is that it is not the same quality as the Ultimate stages we've seen thus far. It doesn't look at all like it has been uplifted for Ultimate. It looks incredibly kind of blurry, incredibly choppy. There's not really any shadows anywhere underneath any of the platforms, which is something that most Ultimate stages so far have gotten pretty damn right. Probably fake, but given it came with these two Geno leaks, I'm going to take a look at these Geno pictures and see if we can determine if they're fake. So, looking at this first Geno picture, my first reaction is, where is the shadow? Where is the shading? Compared to other Ultimate renders, this one feels like there is a distinct lack of shading. It's also worth pointing out that the yellow sign on Geno's hat is somewhat off-kilter with the little orange kind of pieces of, I think, ribbon? I'm not really sure, that kind of poke out on his concept art in Super Mario RPG, and using this little model that I believe was taken from Super Mario RPG, or at least something similar, you can see that the yellow mark is in between the orange ribbons, whereas right here, it is clearly off-kilter, and I don't see why his hat would move like that, especially in a character render where you would be somewhat static. Obviously, this character render is also very bland in terms of action. If you look at all the different character renders that we have for Smash Ultimate so far, you will notice that most of the characters are doing some sort of a pose, or they are just kind of interactive. They feel like they're dynamic, they're doing something. Take a look at Luigi as a prime example. I don't know what the heck Luigi's pose is, but he's clearly doing something, and then you look at this Geno pose and he's doing nothing. It also doesn't help that his nose feels like it's just been kind of like there's been a triangle kind of painted on, whereas I'm pretty sure the nose was pointed out in the actual Super Mario RPG. Basically, this render just looks really old, it looks kind of shoddy, and the ears look a bit weird, and switching from this render to the Victory render, I think it is... I think the Victory render obviously is more 3D and is more textured, but those ears do not look right to me for some reason. I'm looking at them, and they just make Geno look a bit ugly, to be honest. I feel like Geno's face is so kind of like flat and football, like a bit kind of like Stewie Griffin from Family Guy. It doesn't really look particularly right. I can't really explain it, it just doesn't look accurate. It's also worth noting that in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, when the Victory's graphics come along, you can still see the background from the Victory area, so that's another pretty goddamn big hit against this image. In fact, I feel like this image has probably been floating around before and it's just kind of shown up now out of the blue for some reason. I mean, it's not a terrible render, but it's not Smash Ultimate quality at all. Like, this is not Geno for Smash Ultimate, I'm sorry guys. And by saying that, I think that also proves that the Icicle Mountain picture is also fake. Some people are probably breathing a big sigh of relief, but the thing with these renders, and the thing with Ultimate's renders specifically, is that they do have a specific style to them. They are dynamic, they are well shaded, they feel like renders rather than just character models. Like we saw at E3 when they had to use, I believe, Mario's character model as a render because his render wasn't complete. You could see the difference. And with this is meant to be his character model in the Victory screen, but then you go to his render on the character select screen according to this leak, and arguably this model that is the Victory screen is way more detailed than this model that is used on the character select screen, which it should be the opposite way around. So this is definitely 100% fake. Don't fall for this. This is not a correct, real leak. It is fake, and I hope that nobody believed it. But moving on, the reason why I'm covering a second leak today is because it does actually mention Geno. Because someone sent this to me, and everyone is probably like, what's Billy's reaction to this? He's the Golden Sun guy. Somebody posted a leak of a new Isaac render on the website, and obviously Geno is right next to it as well. That's why it was like a little bit of a segue. And the first time I laid eyes on this render, I was actually kind of floored because, for me, this is the closest render that we have had, at least in terms of Ultimate's art style, like, for Isaac, so far. This is easily the best looking render if we're going by accuracy to Ultimate. Like, if you take a look at Isaac and then you look at Richter and Cloud above him, both human characters, there is some sort of a similarity there. Whoever made this render was 100% going for that realism. That being said, I think Cloud and Richter have just slightly more shine on their faces, and there's a lot more kind of like darks and light areas. If you take a look at underneath Richter's right eye, or on the right side of his face, like there's kind of like a bit of a shine, and it gets dark, and then it's lighter, and what have you. With Isaac, it feels like the colors are kind of just more like a gradient rather than like an actual shine, and that does make it feel more painted, because chances are this was a painted image and not a 3D model. That being said, this is a very impressive Isaac 3D model, and a lot of people have been saying, oh, it looks off, oh, the hair color looks weird, whatever, but you have to remember that the only times we've ever really seen Isaac were in a Golden Sun Game Boy Advance game, and it's 2018 now. If he's going to get in the game, he's going to get an upgrade. And if you take a look at Isaac's portrait from Golden Sun, this is actually a fairly accurate reconstruction of this portrait, with a few liberties taken, because, you know, you've got to update Isaac's design for modern audiences. The hair kind of does match for the most part, and I actually am kind of in love with this render. I really like it. I don't think it's real. I think it is hand-painted, and I would love to meet the person who actually created this render and shake their hand, because this is beautiful work. but I don't think this is real. That being said, I like this render because for the first time, I feel like someone has actually gotten Isaac's eyes right. That is something that I think a lot of renders when it comes to Isaac get wrong. They get wrong the eyes, the facial feature. With the Isaac, the person who leaked Agnes and all of that, who made the Isaac render before, brilliant costume design, but the face looked off. And even before that, we've had Isaac leaks where the eyes just don't look right. The artsy Omni Isaac model is like a prime example of just the face does not look right. Whereas this looks really good. Now, if they just put some more color into the saturation of the hair, made it a little bit more yellow, because his hair is a darker yellow. It's more like kind of like a sandy dark blonde, as opposed to like cloud blonde. I think Isaac would look absolutely freaking insane. I think this is, in my opinion, the best Isaac render we've seen. And it's a shame that it's fake. It really is a shame that it's fake, because I really like the idea of that, and it looks really cool. Another thing to note that it's fake is that it is using the Golden Sun logo that was fan-made. You can tell it is fan-made because there are just a few little inconsistencies on the logo, a few notches here and there. The top and bottom of the sun peaks especially, the little sun spikes, you know, the one that's right on the top pointing upwards and pointing downwards, they look a bit kind of tilted. And if you look at the inside as well, those spikes, it looks exactly like the logo, and I will show you a picture of the fan-made logo if I can find it. It will be on Google somewhere, I'm sure. But really, the other thing that kills this leak, and if you assume the render was real, well, what kills this leak is the fact that the render is positioned so far to the right of the box, whereas every other character has had their face centered more kind of towards the center, to the center right rather than the right. If you look at Cloud, look at Richter, look at the Inkling, their faces are all basically in the exact same spot. Their eyes are basically, you could probably draw a perpendicular line, a pair of lines, and they would cross, and the lines would match up with their eyes. With Isaac, he is just completely out of place there, and that is a big mistake for whoever was trying to create this. But I love this leak, and if this gives me hope once again that perhaps Isaac will be making it this time. But I know you guys wanted my opinion on the Isaac leak, and this was my opinion, and I think it's a great leak. It's not true, but I think whoever did this render needs a freaking clap, pat on the back, job well done, you gave it a go. Just a few little messes up here and there. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any more picture leaks, text leaks, or what have you, hit me up on Twitter. You can find the links down below, or you can come to my Discord, and you can post some leaks in the #SmashLeaks chat that we have there. And you can hang out with the Discord. We've got over 600 members now. It's completely crazy. We're always accepting new members, and it's great to have new people from the community join. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.